reflection 9, month 10, May 2025. There we go. There's our intro.
You have the floor. What have you noticed over the last month or so?
You just like reflect now.
Yeah, just reflect on the spot. Come
on. I think focusing more on like, the industry as a whole, and now that we have like our hands on the tools more consistently, moving from like project work to scope work for numerous clients now, which is great. The content space, it really has evolved and changed a lot. I think it really opened my eyes to the fact that I think broadly speaking, I've been keeping across, like if you zoom out completely, it's really hard to be a publisher that's rich. It's been hard to be an independent publisher for a very long time in this market or in like globally.
Mm-hmm.
But I think advancements in how people, are able to access information that's very specific to their needs, that technology, and obviously without any favors from, the tech giants that are out there, publishers are really finding it hard to, justify the overheads that they have in terms of like content production. And they're also finding it hard to, monetize their content. So you see, I had a feeling that obviously that would be reflected in the way that content is commercialized to advertisers.
Yeah.
And, we've been on this weird arc, back in, let's just say, 2019, 2020, right? You'd be laughed out of the room having a meeting with, a major kind of masthead publisher in Australia talking about paid performance content, right?
We went from can confirm that actually.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, and it's funny, I was literally thinking about you coming back from that meeting and telling us about what had happened.
And without ruining it, like, because we can't say, but it wasn't like it was a huge brand that we were representing, and it was a massive launch, and we were still
big launch, big brand, massive opportunity, laughed out of the room, right?
Yeah.
Going from that to, during and kind of coming out of the COVID wave where, every revenue generating stone is being turned now. And, the affiliate landscape is growing, and you see kind of all the major publishers in market having some type of like commerce focused content offering, which is great.
Yeah.
So in that kind of space. Then you start this evolution where, PR, and we talk about this a lot, like PR people, they make miracles happen with no investment. It's crazy, right? But now PR and affiliate content and commerce content are starting to kind of blend together. You see those spaces kind of, overlapping with each other. And now we're in this space where the next evolution is, finding a role and a space for, just flat CPA based content, CPC network content or performance content, with, the awesome guys at Linkbee, and then even other publishers kind of having their own kind of CPC based offering. And then something that is a kind of blend of either, two or, just a CPA, but then a tenancy or a flat fee, right? But it's way more pronounced now, right? Like now the triage is really clearly established in performance content. It's, the tenancy CPA first, it's CPC second, and then pure CPA last. But to see how much this space has evolved, like the commerce content space has evolved over the last few years, and in particularly like how those macro market changes are impacting the way that advertisers access commerce content. Like we're just at the start of this curve as well. Like, so it's just like, it's a super exciting time to like get involved, but and not even get involved. We've been involved since getting laughed out of the room days. You know what I mean? So we've been involved for a while, but to really feel that shift kind of happening, and, you know, wanting to take a few of our partners along that journey and make sure that they can kind of make sense of things, but not only for them now, but also thinking about where it's going to go in the future. I think that was like a cool, like, observation and like realization that I had this month. But yeah, it's my first one. What are you thinking?
Speaking to the industry and the maturity and stuff, the common perception and I guess truth of the affiliate space right up until recently, and generally it's still the rule, but we don't speak to things like targeting very much, because generally the types of affiliates that we worked with in the past and still the same now are normally just broad reaching, like, you know, used to be what websites, and they'd have their audience segments per se, but you wouldn't be able to target on a niche basis, especially in comparison to other media channels and spaces, right? But I think as the area of affiliate is growing, so is the breadth of publishers, which we've mentioned before, and the types. And as a byproduct of that broadening of horizons with publisher sets, we're seeing now that people are getting a lot more clever about, you know, qualifying their offering and targeting. So the one I'm thinking of is card linked offers, which in itself is, you know, not necessarily new, but is, as I say, developing at a fairly rapid rate. And what you're afforded with those is really broad reach. But as we've found out in conversations on behalf of clients that we're having now, the granularity that they can target on, which speaks to our channel in terms of purchase patterns and the windows of time and stuff, is really cool, and allows, I think it means that the affiliate channel can take on a slightly new dimension of, we're not just going to speak to everybody and then naturally the funnel will create the people that are relevant, and then obviously they'll go into conversion, and it didn't really matter because we didn't pay for that exposure because of the buyer. But the fact that we can speak to clients now who 9 times out of 10, most clients are marketing people, so they're used to targeting language and all of that. The fact that we can have those conversations with them now via the channel and the opportunities available through the channel, I think is really, really cool. Overlaid with, like I said, the more traditional partners building their following to such a level and their databases and their CRMs to such a level that, the more traditional ways that we used to be able to target is becoming that much more valuable. So, you know, EDMs and stuff through, you know, major platforms is yielding really good results. So, I think you've sparked a theme there, which is good. And I think the channel's in a really good place because of those two things, really.
Yeah, facts. I think to build off your point is probably the last thing I'm going to say, kind of in terms of learnings for this month. But I think the channel is, and you might have used this language just before, I think, but it's so multi-dimensional now. You know, like you can have advertisers that have programs that are purely kind of focused on one category, and, you know, have them be very successful, being active and working with all the subset of partners that work in that vertical, i.e. if you're a FinServe brand and you're prioritizing comparison partners and you're building really great relationships with comparison partners, you're encapsulating the entirety of, you know, the in-market audience for your product, you know, you're prominent in key converting environments, you can win and win big and, you know, build a great program just doing that, right?
Yeah.
Alternatively, you know, you could be, you know, a travel brand that wants to focus purely on creators and content, you know what I mean? And you can, you know, really shift the needle in terms of like commerce content that, you know, tips people from consideration to conversion at really kind of cost effective rate. You could be a partner that, you know, is very retail focused and is looking to kind of, you know, give, you know, their customers or their prospects a decision to convert with them via rewards or via cashback. You know, CLO is another arrow in that bow, right? These are all these partner categories can be used together, but can be siloed, and it just means that now as an advertiser, as any advertiser, you can really engage with the channel and build a successful program that isn't reliant on multiple territories in the affiliate space. You can build something that's really unique and specific to your business. And, I guess, it's not that we read the tea leaves or anything like that. And it was kind of a change that was happening over a long time. And we thought, oh, well, affiliates doesn't have to be, everything to one type of, business. It can be, a very specific thing to every individual brand that engages, and really successful for them. So yeah, it's, what the stuff we talk about, content, the stuff you kind of brought up on CLO, like it's a great example of the fact that like the channel can engage and be successful for any brand really. And that they've got, as a brand, you've got like so many more options to tailor a program that's really effective and kind of like caters directly to your business needs. But yeah, Keen, have you got anything? Otherwise we can move on to what we're looking forward to.
No, nothing sticks out. I think constantly finessing our time management is important because we've really slipped off our own prospective outreach. We both have, and that's we've got a lot going on, so I think it's fair, but I think we said this in the last video, and I don't think we've addressed it enough. Like we really need to prioritize our own proactive outreach. Luckily we've still got irons in the fire, which is brilliant, but we can't rely on our network as the only source of business for us. So I think managing our time better, even though we're doing it well, better, I think it's probably the area as well. But yeah, a good problem to have, but an area we need to work on for sure.
Definitely, man. Definitely. What else, man? I think throwing over to you before I kind of start rambling away. But anything you're looking forward to this month in particular?
I think at a more micro level, I don't know about you, but because there's a couple of brands that we're working with that are new to channel, I'm really excited. And we always underestimate how long setup takes. Like we always do that. I mean, I do. I think same. Because we do the scopes together, we kind of do the same. And I feel like we're starting to get really good traction with partner recruitment and onboarding across a couple of them. And I really think that the channel will make a really sizable impact to their business. So that's my main thing that I'm looking forward to soon is hoping getting some really good results for clients that are new to the channel, because you're obviously doing a duty of showcasing Cam in the best way that we can, but we're also kind of representing the affiliate space as well to them, and they're sizing up and assessing whether it's something that's long-term sustainable for them, and I'm excited to show them the impact it can have. So yeah, I would say that one for me, selfishly, in the next sort of 5-6 weeks is really exciting, and in that there's a couple of publishers that we've not yet worked with because of our small hiatus between being on the tools. So really keen to see how those perform as well. But yeah, go on. What was you going to say?
That's a really, really good point. I think kind of tied into what you're saying. I think transitioning from that kind of initial onboarding and setup period, because we're either bringing on clients that have programs that are now kind of transitioning into our business and our way of kind of working with them. And then, we're either onboarding people to the channel, businesses to the channel who have never touched it, right? So while they're very different, it's still this transitionary period of getting used to working with each other and, finding an operating rhythm that suits that organization, because every brand is different. Every client that you work with is very different. So we are starting to find our groove with everyone, which is awesome. What I'm looking forward to more now is, as the relationship grows, like how do we build our service product, I think is, like something that I'm pretty keen on making, you know, and no disrespect to anyone else doing it in market, but I want to be known for, you know, how much of a step ahead service wise we are in comparison with the rest of the market. And I think that like right now my brain's in kind of gathering information phase, and, you know, just kind of getting a sense of, you know, where each of our clients is, kind of where their pressure points are from a service perspective, from like a business point of view, what they care about, what we can kind of action in channel. And then, you know, finding ways to, you know, I've always been, you know, a product guy, you know, that like optics is really important to me. So just wanted to make everything like as seamless for clients, as impactful and effective for them. But then also making the processes on our end really efficient and, you know, clean cut. And, you know, God willing, you know, we get to a point where we start onboarding people into the business, they can come in and, you know, fit really seamlessly into providing that experience, but then also feel like everything that they're doing is like all the processes that we have in place are helping them, you know, deliver to the standard that we're establishing. So I think, yeah, that is not going to happen in 1 month by any means.
I think
it's like a cool like project that I'm looking forward to. So
it's a great one. That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Thanks, man. Awesome. Another one in the books, man.